everyone, to our Essence Talks. Today we have episode 3. We're going to be talking about what does it mean to be spiritual. We're going to dive into this big question. This could be the whole podcast itself, but let's try it. Let's give it a try. So for some people, spirituality will mean rituals, it will mean religion, it will mean some practical or specific practices. For others, it will be perhaps simply awareness, presence, maybe connection. There are also a lot of misconceptions in this topic, as in spirituality as something vague or maybe only for people who meditate or people who are going to mountains to meditate, and in silence. So the truth is, spirituality looks different to each of us. And today you'll hear each of us, the 3 voices, explaining a little bit what it means to be spiritual. We're in different life situations without children, grandchildren, and that all affects how we experience this. Yeah, we would like to bring spirituality down to earth for you guys to show that it's not about being perfect or doing big things. We're going to move on to our first co-host today, Yasmin.
Hi, thank you, Veronica. Spirituality, I would say, has to be with awareness, and also has to be with being connected to you and what you really want in your daily life, in your thoughts. Like I mentioned earlier, in the way you talk to yourself, in the way you experience life. It's like being in that experience of life. You have the chance to be with the body you have, and that you're feeling good. You're feeling that I am doing the best I can out of what my knowledge, the knowledge I have, and enjoying that ride.
All right, and would you say this concept changed for you with time, the concept of spirituality?
Yes, definitely. Because to begin with, I thought that the spirituality was maybe too much. When I was younger, I thought that now I will never be spiritual. I thought that spirituality I needed a lot of time to be spiritual, even though I was looking for something else that I didn't know what it was. Spirituality, I thought maybe was complicated. So definitely has changed because spirituality has nothing with complication to do.
So it became simpler, actually.
Yeah, spirituality is quite simple. You have your answers right in front of your nose. The thing is that we are looking for something that is much bigger than it really is.
Thank you very much. I'm going to move on to our second lady in charge, Janice. Can you, in a few sentences, tell us what, when you hear that word, spiritual, what does it mean to you personally?
Thank you. I'm going to be a bit academic here because, I was always studying, and definitely you cannot find spirituality in knowledge. But I thought I could find it in there, but no. But I'm going to just quote the same words as Mattia De Stefano, one of my teachers. Where spirituality, the word itself, come from? It's coming from the Latin word spiritus, which means breath, life, soul. But spiritus come from the verb spirare, which means breathe, breathe the life force. What is that actually? That invisible thing that actually animate all of us. Some people could call it consciousness, the energy, or the spark of life. And that for me implies every one of us. Every one of us breathe. And to me, I was looking into the deeper meaning of what is the exactly thing that move our energy. This is why for so many years I was looking into the deeper meaning of what is it that exactly that move us, make us breathe. Is this Makes sense?
Yeah, but I was curious because you say a lot about academics. Is this what it is for you?
Yes, it's basically what is really what I can express spirituality is the deep understanding of what make us breathe.
All right, thank you very much, Janice. That was a good explanation. If you ask me, yes, Veronica talking to you from here. Um, I would say, making it very simple, I think it's just awareness over everyday life. And I know it's very general, but this is what it is for me because I don't have time to have rituals and think big spiritual things every day. Like through me, it's not always meditation that is spirituality. It's those moments when I'm just fully present and not distracted, especially by my phone. Don't get me even started. It takes away so much focus. It's basically just, yeah, when you don't get distracted, when you don't talk to other people, when you don't watch anything or you don't listen to anything, I feel like that is deeply spiritual moment to me. And by spiritual, I mean present. When I hear my thoughts as they come, and I'm like, oh wow, that was a thought, instead of just being in the thought, being the thought. So that's for me, the being present is being spiritual. As simple as that. Do you ladies think that, do you feel like spirituality sometimes it's made a bit too complicated and like commercialized or maybe even performative? What do you feel like?
I believe that it's a lot of myth about spirituality that are not true. Like, for example, you have to be perfect. You have a perfect life when you're spiritual. That would be one of them, and that you have to be perfect yourself, and that would put enormous expression on people that are searching for something. On the other hand, it's also said that you need to meditate hours to be spiritual, and many people don't even know how to start. Or that if spirituality is a one thing, a one-time thing. You suddenly got the light and you are there all the time. Those kinds of misconceptions can do at people may think that spirituality is actually difficult, but it's not.
Mm.
So, because spirituality is more about the journey to enlightenment or about the journey to self-realization. It is the journey. It's the steps you do and the experiences you have to do that, and you don't need to do a lot. You just need to be connected. But also you have this commercialization about it's a lot of misunderstanding that I will go there, and that itself would make it difficult for people to know what spirituality is,
Yeah,
or to experience spirituality.
Yeah.
no, definitely.
I will say, yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions in there because in my case, I am just a pretty normal, random, not random, but I'm a countryside girl that lives in Essex. I don't live in the city. And my job is not even 9 to 5, it's 24/7, which, by the way, I'm in the transition to change that. But you could look at me as a professional, very serious, but to me, since I was very young, I was all about to finding deeper meaning on it, on this life. There is a lot of people that they are in their path to find this deeper meaning. And as you said, Veronica, is getting a lot of commercialized. People are getting very confused about a lot of information that they're getting from everywhere courses. I wish I could have that courses when I was young. However, everyone is going what resonates with them. And I'm not feeling that it's a wrong thing. If it's that for you, it's good. But I believe there is an awakening in the planet, and people are just like trying to help people, and sometimes that money gets involved or with that, and that's when people are just confusing that because they have a concept of spiritual. To be spiritual, you need to live a poor life.
And that's my next question, actually. I wonder, because you mentioned money, and obviously a lot of people, there will be money involved, right? And the question is, at what point do you need to get the teacher? And do you need to get a teacher to continue with your spiritual path? And how do we recognize if someone is there just to make money or actually help us on the spiritual path?
If you are stuck in something that you're trying to do it by yourself, you need guides or teachers, or I learn a lot from my teachers and from my guides. I learn a lot because at some point in my life I always I get stuck. So even my friends, when they have the awareness higher, I ask them for something. You're always going to, because some people are going to know or experience more than you. So there's nothing really wrong to have guides or teachers. However, you are by yourself in this journey. You come in by yourself, and you will get answers from within, because it's your own intuition, is yourself. You could listen to everyone, every teachers that they are crossing your path, but at the end of the day, you should listen to yourself. That's what I will say.
Thank you. But Yasmin, you are a teacher yourself. You are guiding people on their spiritual journeys. I have, many questions about that, but the current present one, do you as a teacher need a teacher as well? Or are you satisfied on your spiritual journey?
To begin with, when I started looking, I didn't know how to get there. And then I got somebody that already had gone that way, that already knew what it was, the spirituality and how to go inside yourself. Because what the teacher does, and that's one of what I do, is I help them to go inside themselves. So when I wanted to go deeper, I wanted to have that guidance, because for me it's important not only to my teacher. I have my teacher and my mentor. Paul Espenbandic is my teacher, and Maria Dompier is my mentor. And it's also discussing the experiences I have. I think that's the most beautiful part of the teacher, is to help the student, is to get connecting to the experience and understanding the experience. And for that, you need somebody that has done it before you. It's not about teaching methods. To begin with, maybe you can teach some methods about how to meditate or how to breathe and all that, but the work is done by the student. You just there accompanying it. The teacher won't be the one making you illuminated or anything like that. The teacher is just guiding you to yourself. And many people don't need that. Many people, they just connect with the guides, like Janice was telling you. You have your guides, and they can tell you what to do. The thing is that, to begin with, many people don't listen to their guides. The guides are there telling, hello, I'm talking to you, but you're not listening because you are everywhere.
The guides that you mean, for those of us who are not perhaps into meditation all the way in, it's the inner voice you get when you meditate.
Yeah, could be the inner voice you get, could be signs. You also get a lot of signs daily. We don't see it, because we're not in the present. But if you were in the present, then you see all the signs you're getting could be different signs, like the hour or like you thought something and then somebody came with a book that talk just about that. So if you would be in the flow of your life, then uh, you wouldn't need somebody. But if we are out of our life, if we are confused, if we don't know, we have experiences and we don't know what those it means, then I would recommend them a teacher.
So what you're saying is that until we notice that the coincidences, the accidents that we see things around, the moment you realize those are not coincidences, the moment you realize those are signs, that's when your spiritual journey begins.
Exactly. And if you are meant to, I don't want to go into that. It's about our contracts, spiritual contracts, and all that stuff, because your teacher will never show up before you're ready to go on your journey. And that's very. Janice is a very good example of that. That she, in a very early age, she already started experiencing deep spiritual experiences, and she got the guides, she got her teachers later on in life because she wanted to go deeper. And as I did too, I was started looking for answers when I was 13 years old, but I didn't even know I had deep experiences spiritually. I just knew it afterwards when I had a guy that was telling me, my teacher was telling me that was a spiritual experience.
Can I say something really quick about the teachers? Sorry to interrupt you, Veronica. You know, the best teachers I had, they were my bosses, like the people that I didn't agree, completely different from me. Those are the best teachers for you. And they are humans, and they giving you the biggest lessons that you will ever come across, because it's completely, you're not like-minded. It does, they don't resonate with your values, and those are the best teachers. The most challenging experience that you'll have in life. That's all. That's what I'm going to add. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's very insightful. Moving on to the next question, when we get a bit more personal, what practices would make you feel the most connected spiritually now that you started Janice? Do you want to say a bit more? What in daily life, or maybe rituals, what is it making you connected spiritually?
To be honest, this is really a tricky question. I needed to think about it. But in my life, to me, to connect is personally when I am with my family. Because I have always taken this role of either the boss or the manager. And when I am at home, I a mom or the daughter. So I'm always like in the role and in the mood to do. But when I observe myself and my behaviors, and when I really quiet myself and I'm like, okay, look at yourself how you are in my house. When I go quiet with observation or reflecting, that is when I'm just starting being me and getting the real connection of the present moment. It's basically is me observing myself, how I'm in the present moment.
That's good. Small but powerful.
Yes.
Thank you. And you, Yasmin?
For me, would be the practice of thankfulness. That's the first thing I do when I open my eyes. I thank because I'm alive, and thanking my body, that my body can carry me and my health, and just going through a 10 to 15 minutes of thankfulness, that I can see, that I can hear, that I can talk. That practice changed my life. I started with that many, many years ago. And after a while, it was not just thankfulness. This morning I was driving to deliver something to two of my grandchildren. And just the thought of doing that I have the opportunity of doing that, got tears to my eyes, and I had a beautiful moment just because I was giving something. But it's like my life. I have so much to thank, and I went away from all that. Oh, everything is happening and everything is expensive. All this stress and all this, murmur we have in our head, it disappeared. And whenever I am a little bit stressed, because it happens, then I go back to breathing and thankfulness, and I would immediately go and see everything uh, amazing that I already have in my life and change the focus to that and going from stress. So I
Wow, well,
would
that must take a lot of effort to when you're driving your car, it's a red light, it's a long queue. How do you switch into being spiritual, in your case, thankful? How?
because not everybody can drive, not everybody can see, not everybody can. So every moment of my life is like I said, it's not that I don't get stressed. I can get stressed if I go into Oslo and it's traffic and I but even that, what's the reason I am in Oslo? It's usually because I'm going to visit my son and my daughter-in-law and my grandchild. So is where's the focus? The focus is in the thankfulness because I have the opportunity to experience visiting and hugging them and kissing them.
My
If it,
question is more about the moment. What moment do you realize you're not angry, you're thankful?
because you feel it, you see, you immediately feel it. It happens something in your body when you get angry or when you get and you realize it. Is Janice was saying is observing yourself in it when you look at it and say, wait, stop. And this is something I like to talk very much about, is about when you have an impulse and then you have a reaction, and it's usually impulse and reaction. And I have worked a lot, and the thankfulness practice has helped me to open that space so I can use my free will. Because if it's something humans have, is free will to make a decision and change. And I can decide in any moment, do I want to be upset or do I want to be thankful?
Wow, I think I have a lot to learn from you, because that space for me from action to reaction, it's always been very, and I've always been a bit short-tempered.
And me too. They call me match because I will, as any robot, I will explode. So, and you see me now, Veronica, you know me now.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same.
I feel like, because if I can take some space. People assume that because I'm a yoga teacher, then I must be very spiritual, or I must have a very calm and meditative life. Wake up, make a tea, look outside of the window. No, 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 no. It's not like that. It's not necessarily true. I don't always manage to make space for it. But when I actually notice that I can do for myself is to start with small things. And for example, I bike to work. I live in Copenhagen. We bike here every day, everywhere. Rain, sun, we just bike. And so many times I was like, oh, putting my rain jacket, just going, jumping on the bike, quick, 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 from A to B. But then the moment I started slowing down and taking my time to just bike and maybe look around, and on the red light, not being the first in line, just starting the legs to bike, maybe look around, look at other people, and just I feel like so many times we're in a trance of commuting. We're putting ourselves into this flow just to let the time pass, and then we're cooking, quick, 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 quick. Let's heat it up in the oven. Let's not even chop, buy pre-made. So those simple things like biking or cooking is when I find time for my spirituality. And of course, yoga, my biggest joy in life. I love it, but not when I'm teaching. Because when I'm teaching, I'm holding space for others. And I am letting people experience their bodies, their minds, their emotions. So for me, it's not necessarily spiritual way to be on when I teach, but it's perhaps the time when I guide a meditation. I take extra 5 minutes and we're sitting there. And just for a moment, then I stop being the teacher. I join the meditation. And it is the best feeling in the world when you have 20 people in the room and everyone is in a different stage of their journey. Some people are thinking about the laundry. Some people are thinking about, I don't know, angels. everywhere. But we're all having the same intention. And wow, I can just tell you this. It's very, very, very intense. But we could talk about this more, and more of this will come up. But I have one last question to both of you, ladies. Think about it, and then take the voice. How would you explain spirituality to a child or to a beginner? Let's stay with a child. How would you describe it in just one or two sentences to get to the point of it? Anyone wants to start?
Well, I don't think children need explanation about what spirituality is because they are spiritual themselves. They live in the innocence and they will follow a trail of ants just to see where it ends and enjoy that process of finding them, throwing the leaves in autumn up to their heads and letting it fall, or feeling and this is, if we observe children, then we have very good examples of what spirituality is. A child won't get upset because he's sitting in the car going to work, or he would ask when are we arriving. So children, but if I would have to explain something, I would do it like I do to my grandchildren, and I say, look at this, at the butterfly, follow it. What is she doing? Do you think she's enjoying it? What it's just guiding them to see and experience the world, because that's what we are here for.
Thank you.
Wow, beautiful. I agree with you. Our kids, our teachers in life. We need to reconnect ourselves through them, you know? And I was thinking about this question, and I have like my daughter Ashley, she never asked me this, but I let her be herself. And I said, getting emotional now because I'm talking about my family, my daughter. She's an artist, and I let her be. I don't ask any. I don't tell her what to do. She follows her own path. And when she was little and she was always drawing, I always tell her, do keep on doing that because this makes you happy. It makes you you. So keep on doing the thing that you love the most. She's not losing her authenticity, like her essence. So yeah, I won't explain, but I let them be them.
Well, all right. Wasn't that an interesting topic? This was your Essence Talks podcast. We're coming out weekly, so be sure to join our next week's podcast. Talking to you was Veronica, the moderator today, Yasmin, and Janice. Thank you very much for everyone for being here with us. We will publish next episode and we'll dive into how can the essence practices help you with the overall health. We'll talk a little bit about each parts of the spirituality, the body, the heart, the mind, and all different health related things that can be beneficial when you start to talk about the essence. Thank you very much and see you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.